Hello and good morning, Andrew. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you, Harold?
Absolutely fantastic. I want to thank you for this documentary. I want to thank you for everything that you put into this because you're bringing information forward. Stuff that used to be on the front page is now on the back page, and just congratulations on this.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It was, this book was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it. A lot of early morning writing for me. I got up at 5 a.m. to write every day to get this thing done on time. So I appreciate that.
Oh, I totally get that because that's my daily discipline. I've got to be up that early because that's the only space where I can have that imagination all to myself and it's not being taken by other people.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I found in the first book I was writing that I had to create that time to write. Otherwise, it was always being stolen. Yeah.
The U.S. Supreme Court has been all over our pages over the past couple of years here, and I still believe there's a lot of Americans that just don't understand what this court is. They think of court as being that thing that's uptown or downtown or something like that. They don't realize the importance of this court and how it can go right or wrong at the same time.
I think that's true. And I think if you want to understand what is happening with religion and the law, with our Supreme Court right now, you really have to read American Crusade. Religious freedom has long been a shield, right? It's this defense from the minority, by the minority against the tyranny of the majority. It's defended all of us against government overreach. But never in our history has religious freedom been a license to violate the rights of other people or to harm other people? Mm-hmm. But this packed Supreme Court, which is collaborating with a well-funded, powerful network of Christian nationalist organizations, is changing that. And these crusaders really are weaponizing religious freedom. So for the last decade, in case after case, the court has been reshaping the First Amendment into a weapon that conservative Christians can use to injure other people, to violate their rights, and to impose their religion on us all. So in American Crusade, I really wanted to tell the true stories behind these blockbuster cases that are rewriting our Constitution. And I wanted to do so without the legalese that we lawyers tend to love, so that everyone can pick up this book and read it and understand the threat and see how radical and dangerous these crusaders and these Supreme Court opinions truly are.
Yeah, and you put it right there in front of us. Christian nationalism. You really do put it right there for people to say, okay, I need to learn more about this because, like I said, the media sometimes will use other words to define what is really going on. They'll use other descriptions of what these groups are.
Absolutely. And my first book is called The Founding Myth: Why Christian Nationalism is Un-American. And I really tried to explain this political theology, this ideology of Christian nationalism, which says that the United States was founded as a Christian nation, that we're based on Judeo-Christian principles, and most importantly, that we strayed from that foundation, right? And they use the language of return, of getting back to our godly roots, to justify all manner of hateful and evil public policy today, and even court opinions. And what we are really seeing is this Supreme Court focusing on this false history and tradition because they want to try to drag us back to this time when conservative white Christian men ruled. And we're seeing that in case after case after case, and not just involving religious freedom, which I detail in American Crusade, but also in other really important cases. I have a chapter on the Dobbs case in the update to the book, which is the case that overturned Roe versus Wade. That is right in line with this crusade and this attempt to weaponize religious freedom.
Well, look at what you write about with the Tandon versus Newsom, religion over community health. This is so up to date, yeah. and it really does put, it opens up our eyes. It's not just a news story. You really do bring the education with it.
I appreciate that. I really tried hard to do that for everybody, and it's cases that people remember too, like the gay wedding cake case, the COVID church case that you just mentioned. There's quite a few of those cases, the Muslim ban case, and then I mentioned the Dobbs decision, which overturned Roe, and then there's the cases that people may not remember, but which are still really, really crucial. Cases about huge crosses on government land, about school vouchers, the Hobby Lobby case, and what I really wanted to do was tell those stories, but then also highlight the through lines in these decisions. right? And the things that become clear, like this court wants to take and decide these cases. This court will ignore rules and procedure and longstanding precedent, some of it dating back to the founding and even before. This court will rewrite facts and reality, all to help reverse engineer these decisions in an effort to privilege conservative white Christians by rewriting religious freedom.
And I mean, you talk like that, and of course I'm thinking about Clarence Thomas, who's already said that he would like to overturn same-sex marriage, and it's like Clarence, is it your job to do that? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I think people are not fully prepared for. The end of Roe was very obvious. Shocked. I think a lot of us who have been warning about this, but a lot of people were shocked. And the thing that I've been trying to tell people in the wake of that is that the end of Roe is just the beginning. They are coming for marriage equality. They are coming for contraception. They're coming for all of our rights. And here's the problem. There is no amount of power or privilege that will satisfy these crusaders. There's no point where they'll sit back and say, okay, we're done. We can stop now. We have to stop them. An American Crusade tries to give people the tools to do that.
Andrew, how do you train the future lawyer? Because I mean, it's almost like if they could sit there and look at what's happening to this nation and go, I'm not going there. They're going to have to become crusaders themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's a really hard question. It's something that I've personally struggled with, and in a lot of ways, this book is autobiographical, which I didn't realize till I was doing an interview the other day. I write a lot about how the scales have kind of fallen from my eyes about our justice system, because there has been a hostile or takeover of our Supreme Court has been orchestrated, and the truth, the sad truth, is that the facts and the law do not matter to this Supreme Court. And no matter how good a lawyer you are and how good a writer you are, how great an oral advocate you are, it doesn't matter to these justices. They are not arbiters of truth and justice and law. They are a political body. They are an extreme wing, a Christian wing of the Republican Party, and everything is directed at achieving conservative political ends, not achieving equality or freedom or the aspirations of our Constitution. This is not a court of law anymore.
How does it sit in your heart that the media and some politicians are treating the Supreme Court as being Marvel superheroes?
I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things that I really try to do for folks in this book is we have to unshackle our minds from the belief that the Supreme Court is this impartial arbiter of truth and justice, right? I mean, and historically that's not been true. I mean, so there's two things to unpack there. First, the crusade depends on people believing that myth. But we know that the Republicans and Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump and Leonard Leo, they cheated and stole and packed the courts to put their collaborators in place. Not because those collaborators would administer justice even-handedly, but because they wouldn't. And historically, the Supreme Court is actually a pretty conservative and regressive body. In our minds, it's the Warren Court, it's the court of Brown versus Board of Education and all these great progressive decisions. But that was the outlier. Really, this is the court of Plessy versus Ferguson and separate is equal, of Dred Scott and fugitive slave laws, of trying to suffocate the New Deal in the cradle, of gutting the power of the 14th Amendment, of Japanese internment camps and Muslim bans, and billionaires and corporations and political gerrymandering and vote suppression, and now abolishing reproductive freedom. That is our Supreme Court, and right now it's drunk with power, and it's up to us to stop it and to check it.
And that's why we need books like this and authors like you, sir. You have got a voice here, and I am so, once again, from the very beginning, I'm so proud of you for doing this. I really am.
Thank you so much, Arrow. I really appreciate that and the support.
Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, sir.
I appreciate that, and I certainly will.